Hi guys, it's Mrs. Pound. I'm so glad to be with you. I was sitting here in my house and I was thinking about library and how long it's been since we've been together during library class. So I decided that I would find a good book and read it to you. And we can do library at your house. And what I found is a good book for you week. And I'm going to read The Ugly Duckling. Now, there are lots of versions of this story by Hans Christian Andersen. He was from Denmark, and he wrote tons of stories for kids. He was just he loved children, and he wrote lots of really good stories, and this is just one of them. So here we go, The Ugly Duckling. Mother Duck was on her nest, watching for her young brood to hatch. One shell cracked, and then another one cracked. And from each egg came a duckling that lifted its head and cried, beep, 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 beep. One egg, the biggest, did not hatch when the others did. At last, the egg broke open, and a new duckling came out and cried, beep, 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 beep. You can see the broken shells. It was very large and very ugly. He was different, so big and ugly that even his brothers and sisters were unkind to him. We've talked about that a lot when I read stories, and that's not a very nice thing to do to your brother and sisters, to be unkind, but they were. The whole farmyard disliked him. Oh my goodness. There's all the little ones. Here's the big one, big and ugly. This looks like a turkey. He felt miserable, so miserable. So at last, he decided he would run away. If you look right here, he's carrying a little bag on a stick with all his stuff in it in case he needed something when he left. What sort of a duck are you? Asked two wild ducks. You are so ugly. Once again, that's not a very nice thing to say to somebody, is it? In a moment, a large, terrible dog passed quite near without touching him. Thankful I am for being so ugly. Even the dog will not bite me, he thought. Cute dog. In a cottage, he met a cat and a hen. I want to swim on the water. It's so delightful. What an absurd idea, said the hen. We all know that ducks love to swim. And hen thought that was a crazy idea. Nobody understands me, said the duckling. So he left the cottage. Time passed, autumn came, winter came. And one evening, beautiful birds came out. They were in the bushes. They were swans. You see these swans here? They're beautiful, beautiful birds. They have this big, graceful, long neck. Really cool birds. The duckling had never seen anything like them before. He wished to be as lovely as these beautiful creatures were. One day, he looked and he saw his own reflection in the clear water of the lake. He too was a beautiful swan. Now he was the most beautiful of all the birds, and he was so happy. The end. Cool. I've told you all before that I grew up in Massachusetts, which is way up in the top right-hand corner of the country. And I grew up in not too far from the capital city of Massachusetts, which is Boston. In the middle of Boston, there is a huge park. It's called Boston Common. And in the middle of that park is a pond, and they have swan boats in that pond. Now it's really kind of a low boat, and it seats about 20 to 25 people. But the cool thing about it is that where the driver sits, they have built around him a swan. And so he sits underneath the body of the swan, and he steers the boat. And you can go all over the pond and see. It's beautiful. It's got gorgeous trees and flowers everywhere in the spring and summer. It's beautiful. And so that's what I think about every time I read this story about the ugly duckling. He was ugly when he was born, but he turned out to be a beautiful, beautiful bird. Now I'm going to stop there for today, but I'm so glad I did this. I feel so good about it. I miss you all, and I really would like to do this each week. Instead of us meeting at school, we'll meet here in my living room. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, play nicely with your brothers and sisters, and I'll see you next week. Bye.